Hello, and welcome to the Everyday Board Game Podcast with your hosts, Daniel.
And Daniel.
I feel like maybe one of these days we should get one of these recordings so I could just push a button. and even you could cue it up. So that way you don't have to cue me visually. You're like, yeah, Dan, you'd say your thing.
Yeah, well, you're always going to introduce it. They don't do that in late night talk shows. We're not going to do it in our show.
Yeah, but they also have a live band. And when we get to that production quality, then that's a totally different thing, right?
Yeah. Well, you're supposed to be making our music now, so...
Well, now I can. I told you why.
Yeah.
I finally have some good music production software. Maybe I'll have to.
Cue elevator music, exactly, yeah.
Yeah, cue elevator... So the legal term for elevator music is called Muzak. And yeah, I could make some Muzak for us. Dun, 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 dun. That would be funny.
No, it would not be funny. We don't want to put our audience to sleep. They already have to listen to us talk, usually for exactly. 2 hours.
That's already difficult enough. But we appreciate the people that are there. That's right. Oh, man. So, Daniel, new year, new us, and what that means for changes in the podcast, pretty much nothing. So, we are going to be running our normal scheduled program.
Except for, let's say, February.
That's right. February.
We got to hamper that down. But
it has a little thing that's happening in February, which we're quite excited about. We will be bringing that up more later on. But also, today, we have something that we don't always do. But let's talk about what we are going to do. Today's episode is going to be Chits and Giggles, our New Year's gaming goals.
2025 gaming goals is how I'm going to title it, because we do this every year. And so this is
strive for
50%.
Is this our third or fourth year doing this?
I think this is our fourth year doing this.
Yeah, I mean we've done this for a while.
Yeah.
And last year was a great year for my goals. I got 6 of the 8.
I got 50%. I got 4 of the 8.
You got 4 of the 8. Yeah, and that was what mine was. I think the previous year. Mm-hmm. One year I had only 2 of them. It was
one year pathetic. I actually hit 7 of 8. So
wow, maybe this will be the year that we get 8 of 8. Oh, only time will tell. But also.
I made these kind of easier for me to finish, but it's just more along the lines I want to strive for.
Yeah, mine. So last year was I gave myself some very easy goals. There was a couple that were a little more difficult. This year I went back to my shenanigans in the previous year. I have some pretty hefty goals this year.
This one I'm not too crazy. There are some that deal with the podcast, which I like to do, and just our channel in general, but mostly it's about board game or board game adjacent.
Yeah, but I have one that's kind of related to the podcast, because I already told you a little bit about it.
Yeah.
And when it comes up, we'll talk about it. But also, before we get to that, we need to tell you about what's going to happen during today's episode, because you have a chance to win one of these 2 lovely games right up here above my head. They are sealed up here. These are games called Hit Me. They're from Thing 12. It is a press your luck party game. Battle in Brawlopolis. Nobody knows why Brawlopolis started the battle, but you're intending to hit it. You're intending to finish it. Last person standing. Superheroes punching each other in the face. Gotta love that theme. Very simple card game from Thing 12 and yours truly. We're giving away 2 copies. So listen for today's code word. And as always, we'll tell you all the different ways to enter. Mm-hmm. But again, the main way that you're going to enter by listening to today's episode, which we'll do for 4 epides total. This is the second one.
The second.
We're going to give you a code word that is unique to this episode. If you hear the code word, email us with a way to contact. Well, then you have more chances to win.
And again, when we get into the actual topic of the contest, will give you how to enter.
Yep. So, that being said, Daniel, this is New Year. What have you been gaming?
I haven't been gaming anything in the new year.
You know what? We're out.
I literally had plans last week. We were mentioning it. Our family friends, one of their children tested positive for influenza A, so we're like, nope. Love you guys. Not getting it, and especially right now. My wife had to go up to Minnesota and freeze her butt off, so that would have made it even worse if she had the flu.
Yeah.
So
that drive must have taken forever. No,
it was rough. She still had to drive 4 hours. So
yeah, which ain't easy. I mean, I've driven to Minneapolis twice in my days.
Yeah, so
and it's not a short drive.
So yeah, I haven't been playing much, but most of the games I'm going to be talking about, one was before Christmas, and then ones were during Christmas. I talked about a little bit of them last week. 2 games that we played last week. Next one, these are the other 4, give or take, that we played during the Christmas holiday while I was up in Colorado Springs with my in-laws. So the first one I'm going to talk about is actually a solo game. I played this while we were up there. I finally got it to the table. I'm like, I got to kill some time. My wife and my mother-in-law were hanging out in the kitchen cooking breakfast. My father-in-law was getting ready for work. So I was like, I'm bored. I got nothing to do. So I finally tried this solo game that I've actually had for a while. It's been on my shelf of shame. It's Orchard 9-Card Solitaire from Side Room Games.
Side Room Games.
I really did...
Represent New Mexico, by the way. They're from Albuquerque.
Yeah, so...
Yeah, represent.
I really enjoyed it. I thought it was neat. I think I like 4 Northwind more just because I like the trick-taking aspect of it.
Yeah.
I did find it intriguing because of the choices that you have to make. Is like, I got to play these cards and I want to put them on here, but I'm not thinking about the dice, and that was my problem. I wasn't thinking about trying to increase the dice load to higher, so I had a bunch of 1s and 3s on the table at the end of the game. I finished all my cards, and they all had legal placement, so... Yep. So did it do me any good for scoring? No. So I lost pretty bad. I think I had 21, and the lowest score you can get is 23 or 24 or something like that. So, and it's because I wasn't concentrating on increasing the dice, and I was trying my darndest not to get the penalties.
Yeah.
Because those are -3 points at the end of the game. So it's just like, okay, let me just try to finagle this. I got the cards out. I'm like, I like this concept. I find it fun. I just concentrated too much on getting the cards out rather than getting the cards in the proper spots to increase the dice. So I had 1s, I had 3s. Never got up to what I think the next one is 4?
I think it's 1, 3, 6 and 10.
Yeah. So I never got it past 3. So it was a bit rough. I did enjoy it though. I think it's neat. I'd probably get to play some more of it. I didn't thought it was very simple for what it is and for how small a box is. And what's neat about it is it's got 18 cards in the deck. You only play with 9. And the other 9 is if you want to go again, you can just use that 9 that's already set up for you in the next round.
Right.
So I like that aspect. So it is Orchard 9-Card Solitaire.
Very cool. The first one I want to talk about is a party game that we received a copy of back at the Gamma Expo this year. And you got a copy of it. I got tired of waiting to borrow it, so I know you offered to borrow it, but I was like, you know what? Our store stocks it. It's my duty to show it. So I bought Secret Identity and showed it off at the shop, and we played it the night before. And I gotta say, I actually really enjoyed it.
Cool.
It's not crazy unique.
No.
Right? Like, it does something that a lot of party games do, and that's like, how do you get people to guess things with limited information? But what it does differently is really cool. First off, the components are fantastic. There's 8 different safes that you can use, or that you have, 1 per player, and each one has a set of keys, and each of those keys will let you try and guess what the other players have.
Yeah.
And on the safe itself, it has this little slot where you're actually sliding those numbered keys into, and then right at the end, when you're ready for the reveal, there's a magnetic latch that you pop down, and it displays your master key versus all of the guesses that was there. And so all you're going to do is get a point for everybody who gets yours correct, and they're going to get a point if they got yours correct. But everyone does this simultaneously. So you have these little picture cards that look like dominoes. They have a top and a bottom, and then on the other side they have a top and a bottom. And each of those has 4 little kind of vague like icons or little symbols and stuff. And you get 10 of those at the beginning of the game. That's all you get for the game. And once you use one, it's gone. So if I used 3 on my first round, saying, oh, it's not like this, it's like this, it's like this, then those cards are gone, and including all the sides that were on it, too, that I just can't use anymore. And so, not only is it difficult to give solid information, you have reducing export, or reducing, resources that you can use it for. And so by the 4th round, because it only plays in 4 rounds, and each one the characters get dealt out new, you're sitting on like maybe 2 or 3 cards, and you're hurt, and you're like, man, like I need to do Clint Eastwood. Am I gonna choose a bunny rabbit or a bucket of ice? I think I did Clint Eastwood with like a barrel and a rock, like because that was the best option I had. It's like yeah, it was about it. It's like well, could I do a lightning bolt? Probably not, right? It's tricky, and you see like these weird. At the end of the round, it always is the same thing. Like, there's a lot of games that I love where you're like, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, yeah.
I have good luck.
Yeah.
That's the best option I had. Yeah, it was funny. Went over really well with my group, and yeah, I'm gonna be showing it off at the shop actually this upcoming week. Sorry, I haven't shown it at the shop yet, but I played it personally.
Nice.
Secret Identity, R&R Games. Go check it out.
All right, so the next game I want to talk about is the one that we played before I left for the trip in Colorado Springs for Christmas. One that you've been wanting to get to the table. One I want to get to the table because we're Feldians, so we do enjoy it.
Yep.
And this is Kathmandu from the Stefan Feld City Collection. This was number 8 or 9, something like that. It's
something like that.
7, 8, or something like that.
I think it's number 8. I think it's every 4 they do the new one.
Yeah.
And
so I honestly I don't know, and I can't keep up with it nowadays. I know some are new, some aren't. It's weird how it works. But Kathmandu was really good. I really did enjoy it. I like the interesting take on a roll and move, but it depends on which die you're using is what kind of power you're getting, but you want to move in a specific way because if you land in a certain spot with your yak, then you can flip the cards because you don't want you want to make sure you flip all those tiles over, or else you're going to get negative scoring on that aspect. You want to make sure you're in front of the storm that's coming out at you. It is probably middle of the road when it comes to the city collection for me, but I liked what it was doing. I do want to play more of it.
Yeah.
At one, it's beautiful. The tiles that are placed there are really nice. The storm was really interesting take on it. And I love the fact that when you're moving, you have to make sure you can only go in one direction unless you have a special ability that says, oh yeah, and you could turn on this one. Or so your yak has to go in a straight line because that's how yaks are, I guess, apparently.
Yeah, every act that I fed dice to, that's how they work.
And then what I liked about it too is like certain parts of the map, you have to pay extra to go a certain way because if you're going in the direction of Kathmandu, you have to pay extra for that movement. And I can't remember what it was. But yeah, no, I liked everything about it. I thought it was really cool. And you can tell I'm scraping the bottom of the barrels for my picks of games because I have not played much since the new year.
Yeah, no worries. The next game I wanted to talk about was a game called The Coldest Night. I received it. My mother-in-law actually found it at a thrift store when I'd been interested in, like, for a number of years. It came out in 2020 from Indie Board and Cards. And it's a cooperative game where players are stranded in this cabin, this emptied-out, abandoned cabin, on the coldest night of winter, being snowed in a blizzard, and all you have to do is burn the items to stay warm enough to stay alive.
So basically what's going on in Kansas City right now.
Essentially, yes. No, but this, you win if you get through the entire deck of cards and by burning things. So you have to burn everything that's pretty much in the house in order just to make it through the night. Which is, kind of a depressing theme, but it's interesting how it works.
I mean, I got a bunch of kindling over here.
Yeah, right. Well, we'd be all right.
Yeah.
But no, like the way it works is interesting. Each card has two parts on it. They have a heat number, which is how much heat they generate, and an ash number, which is how much heat needed to cast that card. On the burning, huh? Yep, sounds like a game you know. I love this theme apparently. On your turn, you could play one or more cards from your hand that you'll have from your hand, and the restriction is your ash number. Let's say it's like the number 5, right? That means that already on the table there has to be at least that much heat already there. Otherwise, it just won't burn. It's not hot enough. But then, so your ash is your casting cost, but after you play that, of course, it'll add heat to the other stuff. Some cards, though, have penalties for playing them, like it's a bad thing, like it'll take up some of the heat from the other cards, and you'll have to discard maybe like one of the higher value cards. And some will actually give you a benefit by playing them as well. So you're trying to play them, except if you cannot play enough cards where after the fire dwindles a little bit and you discard the rightmost card, if you have 2 or fewer cards in there, you get a frostbite. and those frostbite cards start having like negative effects. Like you might have like uncontrollable shivers, and you can no longer play even heat values.
So we were playing matches, and now we're playing Dead of Winter. What's going on here?
Yeah, essentially, yeah, pretty much. And me and my kids played it a couple times back to back, and man, it's tough. There's these cards that are specifically called Fire Dwindles, and when you draw them, you slot them straight into the first spot, and you discard the last card that was there.
Oh, okay.
And they happen immediately without any prompting, and so it'll be mid-turn even if you do it, and so much harder to play those cards. And it accelerates the issue a lot quicker. There's 3 throughout the deck, and they're evenly distributed. Me and my kids made it just barely past the first one. Both times, lost both times. First of 3. It is a tough game, but the decision space is surprisingly simple, but yet also pretty unique. I like it. I've enjoyed it a lot. It's in a box that's entirely too big. I'm going to fit it in a little photo container because it's essentially just a deck of cards.
Yeah. What else is new?
Exactly. There's nothing new there. And a little pile of tokens, maybe like 8 tokens or something like that.
That's not too bad. Yeah,
really cool
totally
game.
Goes
though.
in a photo case. In fact, I need a new photo case now.
Oh yeah.
I'm full up on that 4th.
one. Yeah. So I do recommend it. It's a really simple game. It works really well. It's effective. And it does give you that sense of dread, which I look for in co-op games. So, super fun.
Nice.
The Coldest Night.
All right, so the next game I'm going to talk about is one that I showed my mother-in-law finally. It's a gift that we gave her for her birthday and finally got it played. This is Just One.
Ah, yes. Okay.
My mother-in-law was like, why'd you guys send me a board game? Because she plays like Cards Against Humanity and stuff like that with her biker group and stuff like that. So we're like, well, my wife's like, we have this copy here. Why don't we just send it to her? And I'm like, okay, that's fine. Yeah. So we sent her a copy of it for her birthday. My wife been wanting to get it for it because when we go over there, we can play it with the family. Because some of the games that they have, my wife is just like, no, don't want to deal with it. So we played this one.
Monopoly again.
And they have Rodeoopoly.
I'm sure it's as good as the original.
But so we played this one, showed it to her. It was me, my wife, my new sister-in-law, my new brother-in-law. Well, not my new brother-in-law. He's been my brother-in-law for 11 years. But
right.
And then my new nephew is what I was trying to say, because she had a child from a previous relationship. And so I have a 15-year-old nephew now.
That was fast.
I know, right?
That was just how fast last year went, you know?
Pretty much.
Who knew a 15-year-old would be born last year?
Yeah, so we were trying to figure it out. She's like, well, why don't you guys teach me this game? And I'm like, perfect. I know this game like the back of my hand. I play it so much. Explained it to them. They were like a little confused. Not really. It's just like, wait, we can only do one word? And I'm like, yeah, you can only do one word answers. That tries to cue you in, but you want to be vague, but you don't want to be too vague, but you don't want to be like dead on, because you're going to eliminate answers, and so the person's going to have less stuff to guess. And so once they grok the fact that you could use names, you just can't use like Boris Karloff. You can use Karloff or Boris. You can't use both. Right. They're like, oh, so it doesn't matter. It just has to be one word. I'm like, yeah, it's just got to be one word. Yeah. That's all it is. You can't. And he's like, what about hyphens? No, that is not allowed, because those are technically 2 words connected by a stash.
Isn't hyphenated words allowed in that game?
Nope.
Oh, okay.
The hyphenated words are not allowed in that game. Acronyms are not allowed in that game, I don't think. It just has to be a 1-word answer. So if you're saying...
I know onomatopoeia is. That is allowed.
Yes. But it can't be...
Kazoom!
It can't be something that's similar, that has the same connotation.
Oh,
so
sure,
if someone uses prince and someone else uses princess, that's eliminated.
Right.
That kind of thing. But yeah, they had a blast with it. It went down really well. And again, this is the first time I've ever met my new sister-in-law, because they got married last year. My wife was able to go to the wedding. I couldn't. Mm-hmm. And then so they got married last year. And of course, she had a 14-year-old then. He's 15 now. So this is the first time I met them. So it was nice to do a nice little party game, cooperative. We also played, it's not on my list here, but I also showed them Fun Facts, which is another, and that is a perfect one for when you're trying to get to new people. So, or no new people. That's the word.
Know people, yeah.
English, so hard. But yeah, so Just One was a fantastic one. It went down really well. My mother-in-law loved it a lot.
Cool. Next one I want to talk about. So I talked on the last podcast how we finished up Ticket to Ride Legacy. Mm-hmm. Me and my wife and a couple of our friends. We finally finished that up. I had a good time. My wife had a less good time. But everyone
Except for that last game.
Except for the last game. She kicked butt. But I did get, right after Christmas, another Legacy game that I thought would be perfect for me and my kids to play. So, and I am now forcing them to play their very first... Well, their second Legacy game. I did play Zombie Kids.
I was going to say, didn't they play Zombie Kids with you?
They played Zombie Kids with me. But this one is the first one that's intended to be like a Legacy game. Like, Zombie Kids is more like, hey, we're adding modules, like kind of thing. And less about like permanent resolution stuff. This one, we are playing specifically Ziggurat, which is a new game. Came out from Mindware Games.
Sounds familiar.
It is designed by Matt Leacock and Rob Davio.
Ooh.
And that alone told me, okay, it's a 6-game Legacy game.
Oh, that's even better. It's a short Legacy game. Sometimes it's hard to do these long games.
Right. And now just for everyone, a heads up, I'm not going to give any spoilers. Nothing that you wouldn't know
by looking at the
back of the box. But you essentially all you're doing is you have a ziggurat, which is a 3D pyramid that you have built into the or built as a board. And it's not spoiler alert. I'm not going to give spoilers away. You have this 3D ziggurat, and you are villagers trying to get to the top of it. That's all you got to do. It's a cooperative Legacy game. It works pretty well. And one of the things that I was surprised
How did I not even hear about this one?
It's brand new. Like, brand new. Yeah. And it's an 8 game, and it is replayable after. So, you know, everything that you can do. So, I don't know if it's going to be, like, a really long-standing, like, Legacy game. I don't know how much story I'm going to get out of it yet. But we're already on our second game, or we're going to be on our third game. We already played 2. And each one is true to its way on how it unlocks stuff. Standard Legacy stuff. There might be triggered events or whatever.
Cool.
But one thing that I do like about it, and again, this is not spoilery, but again, like you would know this by reading the rules on how to play it. So if you don't want to hear anything, put it on mute for a minute. I'll give a thumbs up when we're ready. If you're watching audio, I don't know what to tell you. But it's not that big of a deal. You'd know this by reading the rules. It's not spoilers. But all you do on your turn is
I haven't read the rules yet, so it is a spoiler.
Okay, that's fine. So as soon as you read the rules, you'll know that this is not a spoiler. Every player has a card that they play in front. On your turn, you just play the card. It'll tell you how to move either your hero, other heroes, or multiple heroes. Then on the bottom half, we'll have you move fire sprites, which are roaming around, and you can't touch those. Simple as that, right? I thought at first when I read those rules, I was like, this game is going to be too simple. Like, you're not going to have much agency. Like, a lot of it's going to be automated. No, it's actually surprisingly, like, because of the way the ziggurat is built, you have way more choice than you would think. And being able to prepare is a very adequate part of it. And it's really cool. And there's also, my favorite part about this game is that you get titles or, like, something like the Brave or whatever, right? Or the Singed or whatever. And these are honorifics. That's what they're called, honorifics. And they're stickers that you put on your character card when certain things happen. But the best part about it is that they don't have any gaming effects. It's just literally like, oh, you were the one who had this happen. Therefore, you have this honorific. And it's just silly. And it's genuinely funny, like, how it works. Illuminous, it's not a spoiler. You read the rules and you know it. It's silly humor. It's fun stuff. I like where it's going with this. And yeah, I will give a full spoilerific review once we're done. Ziggurat.
Okay, cool. All right, the last game I'm going to talk about, I kind of mentioned it last week when we did the top 8 debate of 2024 games. This is probably by far one of my favorite 2024 games. Mm-hmm. Got to play it with my mother-in-law, my sister-in-law, my brother-in-law, my in-laws in general, and the new nephew. And this is the game that really got my nephew out of his shell. This is the one that really got him intrigued, engaged, laughing, giggling, having fun. And everybody hated my wife, and I agree with him on this one. And this is Caution Signs.
Escalated really fast. And everyone hated my wife, and I agree.
Because of the simple fact, you have 20 seconds to draw your caution signs.
Oh, I know.
So I have like this stick figure going on here. And she's got this, her caution sign was supposed to be a grumpy deer. How the hell she drew that deer, I wish I got a picture of it to show it to you, in 20 seconds is beyond me. It was freaking ridiculous. It literally looked like a grumpy deer.
Yeah.
And she did it in 20 seconds. And everybody was annoyed at the table because there was a person in the forest being scared of a bear or something like that, like a timid forester or something like that. And I had to draw, like, my brother-in-law had to draw a flying caveman. I had to draw, like, some weird, like a sparkly giraffe or something like that. Mm-hmm. No, it was a chunky hippo or a chunky unicorn. I was trying to draw a pizza box. And she drew, and it took up the whole thing. That's the problem. She did that in 20 seconds, and I could barely get circles with a horn on it, and I messed up on my pizza box. And I was like, how do you do that in 20 seconds is beyond me. And everybody was laughing at the table. My mother-in-law was like, that's my girl. She's an artist. And I'm like, oh, this is ridiculous. Don't play this game with an artist. It's fine. You can have a great time playing this with someone who knows how to draw. Just be forewarned that sometimes the stick figures work better and sometimes they don't, because my wife draws an amazing grumpy deer in 20 seconds. That is the funny part about this game, is you have 20 seconds to draw your caution signs and someone has to guess it. And you get points based on if you get both of them or one of them. And the guesser will get points if they get both of them. Really cool scoring mechanism. Kind of a cross between Dixit meets apples to apples kind of situation. Family friendly, really cool aspect. It was nice to play with my new family members. Every time I play this game, I lose my voice because I'm laughing so hard. And so this is Caution Signs.
You need to play this on one of our Wednesdays. I need to try this. All right, last game I'm going to be talking about is a game that I received as a trade, actually, from a friend of the podcast, Gamehead Geek. And we got this on one of our trading runs,
yeah.
Over to Bookman's in Tucson. And I saw it, I was like, wait, you're trading that? Like, I've always been wanting to play that game. He was like, all right, I'll trade you. And so I traded him this game, and I finally got it to the table. This is Roll Camera.
Oh, yeah.
Cooperative movie-making game. Dice worker placement, or dice action selection is really more what it is. And what you're doing is you're making a film. And there's a lot of components, so there's a lot of parts about it that I'm not going to go into super detail about, but really what you're trying to do, you have a random script that gives you endgame scoring. You're trying to make the quality of your movie past a certain point because you are a fledgling movie studio, and this is your last chance. You have one movie left before they cut your funding entirely and you're done. So it has this dial that tells you the action selection, but also shows you how much money that you have, your budget, and how much time you have. The time ticks down by 1 every turn. The money is spent to make scenes and shoot different shots and all this stuff. It's the coolest, simplest, smartest component I've seen in a long time, because the back of the dial tells you the player count and the difficulty. You set it to those, and then you're like, boom, flip it over. That's how much you start with for each of those. Instead of checking on a chart. No, it put it on the back of the dial. That's the smartest thing ever. Anyway, but the rest of it, the components are really good. I guess the designer of the game also is the illustrator, and all the cards have unique art. It's really silly. There's events that pop up, and they all cause ridiculous shenanigans for different reasons, and they very much take it funny. Like one of the events might be like, oh, accidentally forget to call back the employees for the next day, or brainwash them into thinking they haven't worked yet today, and you can reassign dice. So it's just ridiculous stuff. And then eventually you can call production meetings, so which everyone pitches in certain cards, and they pitch their ideas. One you play for free, one you put in a little standby zone that you can pay with dice later, and one you discard. So that's a way to cycle out some of the cards, or that's ways to do actions. I had an absolute blast playing this. We barely won. Actually, there's 2 ways to win. Either by getting it good enough reviewed, or getting it so bad that it's popular. You can make a B movie in this. There's one little spot down below.
I do like me some B movies, so right. It makes sense.
Yeah, it was so funny, and we aimed for that. We're like, let's just make this the worst. And it was like...
Because we were talking about, on one of our trips, we were talking to Gamehead Geek about B movies that we love. Dead Alive.
Yeah, Dead Alive is so good. The movie we made, because the script cards that you have give you a title. So ours was the Mind-Blowing Gin and Tonic. And as you make the scene cards, you put them face up. And ours was a romance drama, which is not for the title. And so you actually like use the title and describe the storyboard scenes that you filmed and explain how the movie worked. Dude, it's so rich with theme. It works really well. It's a hilarious movie. But after we finished playing, I looked at my group and I was like, man, I really enjoyed that. And they're like, yeah, it was okay. I was like, wait, I thought you guys were enjoying yourselves. And I looked at my watch. It was 3 hours later. So it outstayed its welcome on a 4-player, like, learning how to play the game. So I get that. They weren't ready for that, but we played from 8:30 to 11:30. So
speaking for outplaying its welcome, guess what's one of my next picks going to be?
Something really long. Civolution?
Yeah, I get it in the mail. I picked it up off of Nature Market.
Yes, let's go. Let's go. Do you have a big enough table?
No.
I heard that game has actual like dimensions, minimum dimensions of your table.
Yes.
For different player counts. Like, make sure your table's at least this big. It's like, oh man, I don't know how that's gonna work. But yeah, roll camera, Keen Bean games, super fun.
Nice.
All right, so now let's start our regular scheduled program. But wait. Before we do.
We have a giveaway for 2 copies of Hit Me. You can win one of these copies in our contest. It is a game created by my podcast partner host here. And so the ways you can enter this one is follow us on Twitch. Subscribe to us on YouTube. That gives you entries. Follow us on Instagram. That gives you an additional entry. And my personal favorite, if you guys want to help us out on this podcast and help us pay for the podcast, you can subscribe to us on Twitch for $5. That gives you 3 entries. Mm-hmm. But the big thing for our audio listeners who wait for this to come out, you can give us a code word in our email to win one of these copies to get you an entry. And the email is everydayboardgames2020@gmail.com.
That's right.
You got to put in the tagline contest. You have to give us the code word in a way to get in contact with you. This week's code word is...
matches. That's right. A callback to the first game that Thing 12 published from myself.
Yeah.
The matches came out earlier this year. If you don't have matches... Oh, that's right. We are in the new year. Time travel is expensive. Earlier last year... if you do not have a copy of Matches, go get one. And if you don't have a copy of Hit Me yet,
you can enter to get one.
You can enter to get one. If you don't win it, go get one.
And just for everybody to know, we're drawing 2 winners for this one, and it is Continental USA.
Yep, that's right. All right, so here we go. We are going to go into today's 2025 New Year's gaming goals, or 2025 gaming goals. Again, we do this every year. If you listened last month, you know how we did on our gaming goals. Daniel, where was your inspiration with these gaming goals? And also, on top of that, how did you put them in order?
All right, so a couple things. I wanted to be closer to 100% than 50% the next time, so I made them slightly easier. Okay. I took out some stuff that just I put every year and they don't become succeeding, like doing stuff for this podcast room. I'm getting better at it, and some of it is getting better. It's taking time. I got a better editing software, so you saw how quick I could do the editing.
Yeah, it's looking great.
But the fact of the matter is, the way I put these in here, it's personal goals for myself. The bottom 2 are things I've done repeatedly, but they're goals I always set for myself every year. And so these are ones that are always going to probably stay on my list. Maybe not every time I'm going to put it on this list, but these are personal goals for me, and because I really strive to do these things every year. The rest of them is stuff that are outside-ish of gaming, but also work on other parts of my hobbies. And the ones I put to the top end are the ones I want to work and strive for to make sure they are successful kind of things.
Cool. All right, yeah, I did something similar, except I put mine as in least, generally least ambitious to most ambitious. So my number 8 that I'll be starting with, that is my, probably one of the easier ones to get done, or one of the ones I'm more likely going to get done without too much effort, whereas like the top one will take a lot more effort, but it'd be epic if it happens, kind of thing. Last year, I didn't really put them in order. I just kind of talked about them. This year, I thought it was worth like emphasizing why I think these are so much more difficult and why I'm going to push myself to hopefully get them done, too.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. So yeah, I always enjoy making these ones. This year was a little bit harder because I wanted to come up with some new stuff.
Yeah.
I wanted to do some stuff that is kind of intriguing.
Yeah.
And it just took me a little bit. I think I got like 10, and I took 2 off. I'm like, those are just going to be a little too ambitious or too difficult.
Yeah.
Or something that, because the top 100 is always changing, I wanted to do something like you were doing, is play the top 100 games that I haven't played yet.
Yeah.
But that's interchangeable. It's constantly...
And incredibly difficult, I found.
Well, it's not just that. It's like we were looking at it, Lord of the Rings Duel, Battle for Middle-earth or whatever it's called, is already about to break into the top 100. So who knows what's going to happen within the next year. And Hegemony is not a game that I'm really interested in playing. It looks neat. It sounds intriguing, but it's like I'd rather play other games, so I really don't want to get that to the table.
Right.
No one in this group owns it. I'm not going to go out of my way to buy it to play it. So it's that kind of thing. So.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of the top 100, like, as fun as it is, there are a lot of heavier games.
And it's not just that, too. Like, Brass Birmingham and Brass Lincolnshire.
Yeah.
I'm like, I play Brass Birmingham. Why would I want to play Lincolnshire?
Right, exactly. And actually, like, last week I actually played a game that was rated like a 4.3 or something. It was like it was rated really heavy. But, like, I played it, I was like, oh, this isn't, like, even that bad. It's like, I don't know what that says about me or what it says about the rankings. So, it is what it is, right?
But yeah, so I wanted to just settle on stuff that I will work on to get done.
Yeah. All right, cool. So, as always, I'll be flipping the coin of doom. We'll start at the bottom and we'll head up to the top. Here we go.
No. Mistborn is on the played pile.
Yeah,
we have played it.
Yeah. He's played it.
So is he.
Yeah.
He won.
Yeah, that's right. I won in the best way possible. You're going to be starting us off, sir.
All right, so the first one here is the one I do every year, and I found this is a sweet spot for me. Mm-hmm. And this one is my 200 unique games played. So it doesn't necessarily have to be new to me games. It just I need to play 200 different games this year. And it kind of contradicts with some of the other stuff that I want to do on my gaming goals, but I think I could do it because I played 236 unique games last year. Mm-hmm. So it is quite possible for me to do it, but I have not had a good start this year. I should have had at least 4.
Well, that's all right.
But with that being said, I do want to play it. I really do enjoy this one. It does help that in our gaming group, we only have a pick a month per se. Everybody at least gets 1 pick per month. Sometimes... the way things level out, somebody gets 2 picks in a month, somebody gets no picks in that month.
Yeah.
Just our cycle that we're doing for that one. But I really do enjoy this one. I also really like it because it gives you a lot of mix of old and new games. So I like to get stuff that's on my shelf that I played before, but I want to get it back to the table, as well as going through my pile of shame that's sitting right over here, not covered this time. So, because I was digging through it not too long ago. But I do want to play 200 unique games and see if I can get past the 236 mark. So
yeah, you break your previous record.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. The first one I want to talk about is more of a response because last year we attended the Gamma Expo and we had a wonderful time being as both media and like all of the other different capacities.
You had 3 hats.
I had at least 3 hats. Unfortunately, they rescheduled it 2 weeks prior due to the conflicts in scheduling with the New York Toy Fair. I get why they did it. That is not a knock against them. That is not a knock against me. But I am unable to attend now because of that. Yeah. Just because of my personal life schedule. So my new goal this year is to attend a board gaming convention that I've never been to before. I want a brand new one for me. It can be small. It can be a local playthrough thing. It's just my only rule is it's new to me. I've never been there before. And I want to attend it. When that'll be, who knows, right? But I have a lot of different ways that I probably could attend one, and I'm looking forward to whichever one I end up deciding on. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I mean, it'll be. I love traveling, so why not, right?
Yeah,
a new convention would be fun.
Yeah, the reason why I didn't put this on my list, it was another one I was intrigued by. It's just like I have quite a few trips planned this year. I just found out where. So one of my Christmas gifts for my wife is we're going back to Denver in August.
Okay.
To go see one of the bands she's been wanting to see live. One of my favorite bands, so I'm not upset about it, but we're going to go see Ghost in Denver. We bought tickets. That was her Christmas gift. That was her big gift, so we're going to go see that. He just found out about the Dragon's Tail Con, and he was so confused about that.
Yeah. I'm specifically saying board gaming convention, or at least tabletop gaming.
They have tabletop gaming there. I mean, he's got a tabletop game.
I'm sure they do. but I want tabletop gaming to be the focus.
Yeah, no. And I don't disagree with you, but like I said, I have a bunch of trips. I'm going to Chicago.
Yep.
I'm going to Denver and stuff like that. So.
Yep. Yeah, but that's, like I said, that should be one that I want to do anyway, but I might as well put it on my list. And that should be a pretty, not super ambitious, but at least a good time for me to go check one out.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
All right,
Number 7. Here we go. I'll be starting this one off. Like I said, this is getting a little bit more ambitious. My son, a number of years ago, came up with an idea. I showed him Forbidden Island, and he liked it. And I told him, yeah, there's another one. There's Forbidden Desert and there's Forbidden Skies. And then afterwards, they printed Forbidden Jungle. But he came up with a silly idea back in the day called the Forbidden Gauntlet, where you have to take a character, once you beat Forbidden Island, take the same colored pawn, move it into desert, skies, and then now jungle, right? And you have to beat them all back to back. That is my goal. My number 7 is I'm going to defeat the Forbidden Gauntlet. He's going to have to suffer with me since he came up with the idea. I'm going to plan a time where we both have time off, and I'm like, all right, we're on this Saturday, the first day off that we have over like a break, we're playing it. If we don't win, we play it again the next day, and we're going to keep doing that until we win Forbidden Gauntlet.
Yeah, I find it interesting that because your son goes to that special school, because it's the early college school.
Yeah.
He's not on your same school schedule.
No, he's not. Yeah. Yeah. What has he done to himself? He's made himself a great gaming day.
He's a good kid.
Yeah. He comes up with some great ideas.
Of course, he's not a kid anymore. That's ridiculous.
No, he's taller than my wife. Yeah.
I'm not going to say anything because I don't want to get in trouble with your wife.
She's short. That's not a high bar to reach. Not a high height. You know what I mean? It's pretty short.
All right, so my number 7 is another one I did last year, and I really enjoyed doing it, and it was fun. And like I said, I have a lot of trips going on, so I want to support the local game stores on my trips. I already have a couple places I want to go to in Chicago when we're up there, in the general area where we're at. I already know a couple where we're going to go hit in Denver while we're over there. I actually want to hit different stores except for the one. I want to go to the Black and Red again.
Black and Red, yeah.
That's
a good store.
Plus, we're also going to go to Colorado Springs, so I want to hit some other stores in that area, not just Gamer Haven. But yeah, I want to hit all these local stores. I know there's some smaller trips that we might go do, so maybe hit Zia and Alamogordo on the way.
Sure.
Some of the trips that we're doing.
I was there just yesterday.
Because my wife wants to go to Ruidoso during the spring, summer, when it's warming up a little bit, take the dogs for a hike up it that way, rent a cabin. So I'm like, okay, maybe we'll find a little game store in that area, or hit the one in Alamo.
Yep.
So yeah, just doing all these little support the local FLGSs as we go. My wife really does enjoy doing it too, so she's like, okay, I'll work on that with you, because she likes going to game stores and exploring for me and bringing back little games and stuff like that. So my small card game, that's why my third case has just gotten full, because she keeps bringing me all these little itty bitty card games. Like I got Castle Combo over Christmas.
Oh, cool.
Because she bought that. I think she said she found that one in Seattle. So
that's fun.
So it's been intriguing. So I really do enjoy it. I do like showing support to the local stores while I'm traveling. If I ever go back up to Albuquerque, I want to hit like Slice and Dice or some of the other stores I haven't hit. It's kind of hard because I hit a lot of the stores.
Right.
And it also goes along one of the things that we want to do for the podcast. It might be on your goals list, so I don't want to talk about it. But it might go with that kind of thing too. So
yeah.
All right. That was my number 7, so we're going to 6s.
Number 6. Here we go. My number 6 is the only real, like, well, it's not the only gaming goal. Like, I mean, like, some of our goals have, like, revolve around the world of gaming, and some of ours are just straight up gaming. Like your play a number of unique titles. That's a pretty big gaming goal. This is my only big gaming goal, is that I'm keeping track of all the different titles that I've been playing, and I want to play just as many new to me games as I have replaying in my collection.
So you want to play 100 new to me games and 100 old games.
Regardless of how much there is, I want
equal
amount.
Equal.
I want to be able to experience the new games, and this will give me an incentive that if I'm replaying a lot of classic games, I'm also working towards my shelf of shame or playing what other people want to play. And then on top of that, if I'm doing too many of the new games, this will get me to appreciate my collection still. So I'm going to be playing I want that equilibrium. I want them both being played as much. So brand new games to me, I'm keeping track of those as well as right next to replaying.
And I think it kind of works out for you because you're at that point where, like, if something's going in, you got to really see if something's going to stay in that your shelf. Mm-hmm. So if, like, I really like this one that came off my shelf of shame,
right?
I got to go play something over here to see if I'm on the fence of if it's going to stay here, and then I'll have to figure out.
Exactly.
I mean, that's a good, smart way of doing that,
yeah.
too.
I haven't found a better solution, so I was really happy when I came up with that idea.
All right, so my number 6 one is kind of out of the left field here. Not out of the left field, but it's board game adjacent in a sense. One of my favorite hobbies, and the big thing about it is that I'm a mood reader. Mm-hmm. And so I want to get back more into reading and reading heavier. Like right now I'm in the middle of the 4th book of the Stormlight Archives. I just finished the 15th book of the Dresden Files, so I like to read. But I want to make this board game adjacent. So there is a number of board game books that have been published recently. Daniel Solis just had one.
Yep.
Our friends over at Level 99, Brad Talton, just had one released. Mm-hmm. I want to read a couple, maybe even a few board game related books.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Whether it's about designs or just board gaming philosophies and stuff like that. And I found some on Kindle and stuff like that I want to get into and want to read. The Daniel Solis one intrigues me a little bit because it's about using
it's about graphic design.
Design to it.
Yeah.
But it reads and looks like a textbook, which concerns me a little bit because I hated reading textbooks back in the day.
Yeah.
But I like I said, I enjoy reading. I like to listen and hear about the creative thought process about board games or what people think about doing in board games or where they come up with these ideas. So I read a lot of articles on board gaming of how they come up with that stuff. And so I want to incorporate 2 of my favorite hobbies together.
Okay. Interesting. I very much like that idea.
I'm not there yet. I'm reading the 4th book right now. I have the 5th book. I'm just reading the 4th book to get to the 5th book.
Clarification. One of our chat members just asked about the Stormlight.
Yeah, he likes reading, and especially the Stormlight ending. I'm like, I'm halfway through Rhythm of War.
Cool. All right. On to our number 5s. Here we go.
All right.
That'll be me as well. Number 5. I want, and this was partially inspired by Gamehead Geek's idea, something, but I had an idea before this, but I really liked what he said about a specific game, Cash and Guns. I want to mega upgrade one of my games. At least one of them. Like, one of my favorite games, I want to get custom components. I want to have a storage solution. I want to have every bit and bob that you can find to make mine just the most, awesome versions of that game that I can do. And I can make a copy of it. And I did something back in the lockdowns. I made my own,
custom
version of Carcassonne.
Yeah, I was going to say, did you do, the 3D...
Yeah, I tried to make 3D terrain and stuff, and that was really fun. But that's not quite what I'm talking about. I'm talking I want to get the coolest pieces I can come up with that really bring you into the game and really just go, hey, look, the publishers are selling these fancy versions of this game. I just want my own version I could bring to a convention. People are like, whoa, that's awesome. And showcase one of the games that I've really enjoyed. So I'm going to mega upgrade one of my games.
Okay.
I don't know which one yet. I will look through my top 100 when I eventually do it.
All right, so my number 5. And this one is one that I really want to get worked on. I know it's in the middle of the road kind of here, but it involves other people, and that's why it's just maybe I can't get it.
Right.
But, and I'm not saying here, but I want to work on finishing a lot of my campaigns. I want to at least finish 2 or 3 of them this year, including some that we're in. I think I moved them off to the side over here now.
Yeah, you and I have 2 alone that we're in.
Right, we're in. I want to finish those. I want to finish Ticket to Ride. We're close. We're on the 7th game on that one.
Oh, nice. Okay. Do you remember that one thing that happened? No, I'm just kidding.
I want to finish Gloomhaven. We have been working through it, but we just we've been doing like role player adventures and other stuff too.
Yep.
I want to finish role player adventures because I have the expansion for that one. Vagrant Song is another one that I want to get through. So I have a bunch of campaigns that are going. In my other game group, we instituted a rule that we cannot start a new campaign game until we finish one of the campaigns we're currently in.
Yep.
So it's
Good
like
idea.
yeah, that's one of my things is I have some that are sitting over here that I want to get started, like the Mandalorian Adventures. But we can't start it until we finish what we have over there. So my big thing is I want to work on them because I'm in several of them through a group. And on a later entry, I have a way to work on that.
Yeah. All right. On to our top half now, 4s through 1s. And now we have a plea for our audience members. If you listen to the podcast or if you join us live or whatever, make sure you're holding us this. Start engaging with us so that way you can hold us accountable for finishing these. Because that'll be epic when we do. On to our number 4s. Here we go. I'm starting us off. This is I have to have a ridiculous goal in every one of mine.
Always.
I always do. That's on brand for me. And this I think I might have told you about this, but I don't know if I did or not. But this is just absolute shenanigans. I did something like this a number of years ago, before we even did the podcast. I went through like all my games. I found like all the custom dice, and because I knew it would be easy to sort, so I took like all my Dice Throne dice and the King of Tokyo dice and all the custom stuff, right? And because I was curious how many I had. And I had about like 60 or 70 dice. I was like, oh, this is cool. I gave them a roll. I was like, that was funny. They all fit in like a metal bowl. I know I have significantly more now. And my goal number 4 is to roll all of my dice at once. And I want to make a video of this.
Why don't you just play Warhammer?
No, I mean, like, I'm going to go through my entire collection.
I know.
And every game with a custom dice, or at least a die that is significant enough where I'd be able to tell which game it came from. I'm going to take all of those dice, and I'm going to put this on our Instagram, and I'm going to roll all of those dice to see what happens. And I will count up the results, and let's just see what happened, what I roll in this. It's like, well, I rolled about 13,017 lightning bolts, a plus sign, and like, who knows what's going to happen. So, yeah, it's going to be a really silly thing. It's kind of absurd, but that'll be a silly afternoon, won't it?
All right, my number 4 is actually kind of adjacent to what you're talking about.
Wait, what?
Not that unique, but
I was about to say, you come up with an absurdist idea?
No, well, it's kind of absurd if we can get everything to work properly. I want to do something we haven't done in a while. We've talked about it, and you and me talked about we might do something of such, and that is to live stream more of our gameplays.
Okay.
Case in point, when we did the Phil Walker Harding Day, I really did enjoy that one. I want to do something like that again. We have an extra camera now, so it makes things a little bit easier for us to do the split screen again. Yep. I just got to make sure my computer's up and running, my laptop, because we're going to do it in the other room rather than here. But yeah, I want to live stream more gameplay. I may even talk Dammit Dom and Gamehead Geek to let us do some live streams on our Wednesday game nights.
Sure.
Which would be fun. But yeah, it's just... The one I keep going back to, and the one I'm more intrigued by, is doing the City Collections Phil Walker Harding. I don't think we're going to get through all of them.
Stefan Feld.
Oh, yeah, sorry. I was looking at the Phil Walker Harding note on my thing, because that's what we originally did. Like we did with the Phil Walker Hardings, we want to go through the City Collection of Stefan Feld. And we were talking about it. It was like, that'd probably be the easiest than us doing the entire Stefan Feld days, and then maybe do another live stream where we do the rest of the Stefan Feld that are in our collections and stuff like that. But yeah, it is my plan to live stream more live gameplays with us. This way you can call us out if we make a mistake or something like that.
Because we love that.
We're going to do that a lot.
Yeah, we will. All right, cool.
Especially if it's first time plays.
On to our number 3s. You ready?
Mm-hmm. All right, I finally get to start again.
Right. It's been a while.
It's been a bit. So my number 3 here is another one that is reliant on other people, mainly you. I want to do more reviews on our YouTube channel. I specifically set a goal that I want to do at least 1 or 2 a month. So I want to hit either 12 or 24 throughout the year.
Okay.
Games that we've played, games that we want to review, games that we've been given as reviews. Luckily, we don't have anything on our pile of shame right now. So,
nothing at the moment.
And neither one of us are going to the Gamma Expo this year, so we're not going to get more on that one.
Yeah,
but yes,
which is a bummer, but, you know.
I want to do more of that, but I also want to do more fun stuff for the YouTube, and I may even start ripping some like the games that we play and putting them on the audio side and just to see how they do.
Sure.
But I really did enjoy when we played the, the Play, Collect, Call. That was really fun.
Our game show episodes.
The game show stuff that we're doing, especially when it's like an off week. I want to do more of that stuff. I also want to do more of the reviews. We're getting a lot of traction on BGG when I post the review videos up on our thing. So we've gotten both the designer of Earth and the designer of Box Top Pinball following us now on YouTube because putting that stuff up there. And it's just something I want to get into more.
Appreciate y'all's support.
Yeah, because I enjoy doing the reviews. I like how we do our reviews. Yep. Basically trying to take as much bias out of it by doing our gamer criteria every week. And so a game that I may not like could still score relatively good because we're basing it on our criteria rather than our personal taste.
Right. In fact, I actually had a publisher like chat with me a little bit. And they watched one of our reviews that we didn't give the best score to, but I was like, so what do you think of the review? They're like, you know what? Honestly, it made a lot of sense what you said. That was a very respectful way to do it, even though it wasn't the best score that it could have been. And so, yeah, I'm glad we do it that way.
Yeah, exactly.
We let you understand if you're gonna like the game or not.
Yeah, exactly. Because we're giving the criteria and base the criteria on that, and it gets the point that way.
Exactly. Yep. Cool. All right, my number 3. And so if rolling all of my dice wasn't ambitious enough, here's where it starts getting a little bit bigger. I told you about, this is the idea that I told you about, that one of the few that I came up with a couple months ago, that I want you and me, for our Instagram.
Hence why I mentioned it.
I want us to go around to every store that's in our state of New Mexico. It's roughly in the 40s. I'm talking everyone. We have a huge state, geographic-wise, and we want to review each and every board game-related store here in the state.
By using our gamer criteria, we are going to fix it based on our on how stores would do it rather than a game and stuff like that. So if you have ideas how we should put it in the critique, put it in our comments and stuff like that. We'd be interested. We're going to work with our other group about it too, how we should rate it forward.
Exactly. So that way you and me can just take like a couple day trips and then just go, okay, well this day I'm off. Let's go to the east side of New Mexico, fill up the tank. Let's go check these out, right?
Yeah.
And check out all the stores. There's a lot that we've already been to and we can give some good feedback for. But I mean, and it really goes to show the love that we want to put into at least our home state.
And so the main thing when we're doing that, I say
test too.
We need to make sure they sell board games there. So that's the main thing. It can be a board game cafe, but they need to sell board games.
Right, and it can also be like mainly a shop that focuses more so on tabletop or RPGs or even like Magic the Gathering. But if board games are being sold there as one of their primary products, then that's where it'll count.
And so like the one local here, they sell board games, but they mainly sell comic books.
Yeah, it's mainly a comic book store. But, they have a significant amount of board games.
Yeah.
The only exceptions would be like mass market. We're not going to do mass market. It's going to be New Mexico only.
Yeah.
But, we'll talk about all that. Who knows? We might review more stuff on. But that's my number 3. Review all of the New Mexico gaming stores.
Cool.
All right. Number 2.
I wasn't expecting it for me because the coin doesn't like me lately.
No, apparently not.
So my number 2 here, it goes to some of the ones I've already mentioned. 1 being all the campaigns I want to get played, and 2 live streaming more games.
Yeah.
And this is specifically, I want to host more all-day gamings that we would do on Sundays, because it's one of the ways we can play some of the bigger games that we need to get played, or some of the longer games that we need to get played off our Shuffle Shames that we don't want to use in a game night because we only have about 4 hours, if that, during game nights. And so for me, I want to host more all-day gaming. One of the reasons being is I want to do that all-day gaming as a campaign day. Finish off Rise of Queensdale. Finish off Risk Legacy, depending on who shows up. If Gamehead Geek shows up, do Rise of Queensdale. Get that done. Finish off Risk Legacy if it's just the three of us. Get that done. And then we'll start working on some of our other games that we want to get played. But that's the thing. Is like I said, I put down here, I want to do like 1 or 2 a quarter. So basically 4 to 8 extra game days in the year. Just for us to get through that stuff. Hey, we'll never know. I might smoke another brisket for everybody and hot dogs and stuff like that. I do like grilling and smoking. My smoker is actually shut down for the season because our windy season's about to start up, and I don't need it blowing away.
Right.
But yeah, no, it's always a good time. We always have a blast doing it. It again allows us to play some of the heavier games or the games that are going to take longer, or because we want to do our game nights to get as many games played. Because usually we're trying to cycle through and seeing what's staying and what's going, kind of thing. Yeah. So my number 2, host more all-day gaming.
All right. My number 2, and this is obviously the second most ambitious project that I'm going to be working on, and that's because you and I both technically did this last year. And this one, I want to play 3 or more games specifically in their setting or theme. And you and I did this with Seaside, right? You did it on the cruise. I did it literally on the beach in California. Mm-hmm. We both played Seaside in separate times. Literally Seaside. Mm-hmm. And so an example of this would be like if I played Carcassonne literally in the French city of Carcassonne. Or if I played Ticket to Ride on a train, you know. And so
that would be annoying. Those tables are small.
I'd probably use one of the small ticket rides, the tiny ones. But
you got to make sure they have trains because those are taxis.
Oh, you're right. I could play one in a taxi. That would be stupid. But no, I want to be able to. I'm going to pick at least 3 games that somehow I'm going to be able to have like my have the setting where it's capable for me to play it. I know I want to do at least one based on the city or region that it's in, and I want to do at least one based on the setting of the game itself. So what that means, I don't know, but that is my goal. I don't yet know exactly how I'm going to do it, but that's if I do one every 4 months, I will get the 3 games.
Yeah, I was just trying to think like what small games
I could play 3D Haunted Pinball at either the Pinball Hall of Fame or in a haunted house, right? That's a win-win, right?
There you go.
Actually, that would be really fun.
You can play Castles of Tuscany in Tuscany.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I doubt too many of my European games will get done. But like, can you imagine like playing Rock Hard while waiting in line at a rock concert, right? Like that would be stupid. But I never played it, so I don't know how much table space that takes.
Oh, it takes quite a bit.
Yeah, or maybe while I'm waiting, like during dinner or whatever, you know, you get a little booth, like play it out. Yeah, there's so many ways to do it.
Mm-hmm. Like or play City of Living during a zombie apocalypse.
Yeah, you know, the usual. So my number 2 is play a game in its theme and or setting.
Cool.
Or 3 games, sorry.
Yeah.
And now, our number 1.
All right, and my number 1 is a big one for me here, and the reason why I left that behind me uncovered. I want to work through this. My pile of
I thought about it this year, too.
I really want to get this knocked down, because I have stuff on here that's been here for years. Mm-hmm. So I really want to get it knocked down. I want to at least make it where it's manageable, maybe 20 to 30 games rather than... I want to get at least half of those games played by the end of the year without adding more.
Don't back it up. Get it to a 0. I want you at one point this year to get that to a 0. Now, so a friend of mine asked me, or has the same goal, but he has like 400 games on Shelf of Shame. It's in like...
I'm nowhere near that.
That's really difficult.
And I've gotten this down before. I've gotten it down to like 0 games. I've gotten everything off of there. My goal is to at least get through half of them, and I really want to get the ones that have been on the longest. So the ones that are like the newest are not my priority, unless they're like the Kinderspiel ones or easier ones. Velominimal would be easy to play. Masked Men would be easy to play, but I want to knock that down at least by half. But also, I want to get the older ones that have been sitting there for a while, like The Godfather, that's been sitting there.
So what's your measurable goal? Are you saying half?
Half.
How many are on there? Do you know yet?
60.
60. So at least 30 of them? Mm-hmm. You got this. You got.
Yeah,
I got
you would be surprised because I'm adding 2 more this week.
Well, okay, so are you counting half now? What's your goal that you want to get it down
I
to?
want to get it down to 30.
30 games. Okay,
Yeah.
So if you get more, you have just that many more to get down to 30.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay, that's the measurable goal.
And the reason why I want to get it down to 0...
I can teach you about 4 of these that I see right off
The thing is, I would like to get it down to 0.
Yeah.
But I only get 1 pick a month, maybe 2.
Right.
Because my other game group, I always bring the games over. But if I'm working on my campaigns, it's that kind of push and pull. So that's why I'm like, I want to get at least down to 30, make it more manageable.
Okay.
Especially since I got a lot of Kickstarters coming in this year. A lot of them.
Yeah.
Supposedly.
Supposedly. Yeah, you might not. All right. So my number 1 goal, and this is going to be the biggest one, if I'm able to pull it off. I can't guarantee I will, but I would love to. I had a conversation with my wife recently about bucket list items, like what concerts would we want to go see, what things would we want to go travel to do, what kind of play a giant Godzilla game, that would be awesome. What kind of different
I'm getting
things.
a giant Godzilla game.
No, I know. No, I was laughing at the comment, and so we're talking about like different. Like bucket list things, like what do we want to see, and all this stuff, because our kids are older, we can travel, we can do all these events,
Mm-hmm.
and I want to start knocking off some bucket list items. And one of my oldest things I've always wanted to do was hold a Guinness World Record somehow. I know you roll your eyes, I know it's so dumb, but why not make it board game related?
It's so ridiculous.
It is
to get
it's the absurdity, and I love the absurdity. I love having the fact that I can say it's like, hey, I was part of a board game.
Well, no, but it's not that. It's just the hoops you got to jump through with the Guinness people.
And I'm willing to do it now to finally get that bucket list item, because there's like see a Beatle live, like Ringo or Paul, either one. They're the 2 I have left, right? I want to see them perform live. That's a bucket list item. Stuff like this. So why not?
I saw Paul McCartney.
Why
back
not
in the day.
try? Why not?
I was a kid too.
Break
My mom
a world game, a board game themed world record, and I have some ideas that I'm working on right now. I've already started the wheels in motion. I'm already starting to plan some stuff, and I already know, generally speaking, what I'm aiming to do. So I'm gonna be trying to get a Guinness World Record somehow, board game related. That is my number 1 gaming goal this year. I'll tell you the details off screen.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. So, thank you for sending the link, Illuminous. Yeah, I have looked through that a little bit, seeing if there's different things I could be part of. But either way, tell us what you think about these and all of our different social medias, anything you've seen or heard from us. Like, let us know what your gaming goals are.
Yeah, exactly.
Join in on the conversation. If there's any way we could support you in your gaming goals, or you can support us, let us know.
And like he said earlier, drop in on our chat. Drop in our comment section. Let us know. Get on our case to make sure we meet these criteria.
Yeah, absolutely. So, with that being said, if you ever want to email us directly, you certainly can. Our email is everydayboardgames2020@gmail.com. Whether that's to say hi, tell us ideas for future episodes, or enter in contests for giveaways. Again, we're giving away a copy of Hit Me, and our code word today, 2 copies of Hit Me. Our code word today was matches. Also, you can follow us on Instagram.com/everydayboardgames. That also gets you a ticket.
All video re-uploads and reviews are found on YouTube under youtube.com/@everydayboardgames. If you like what we do, there are 3 things you can do to help us grow on the platform. Subscribe if you're not, like the video, and comment down below and tell us your thoughts on the subject.
Also, we stream each of our episodes live for our friends and viewers to join in on the conversation while we record our episodes, like our friends Illuminous and Creative Chaos and anybody else who joined us in today. Following us on Twitch will get you notified every time we stream live, which is also another way to get a ticket, and also subscribing, which is financial. It's only like $5 a month or something like that. Helps us out a long way, and that gets you 3 additional tickets not required to enter. Twitch.tv/everydayboardgames.
And all audio versions can be found on most podcast platforms under Everyday Board Games Podcast, and this includes Spotify, Amazon Music, Podbean, and Apple.
So we want to thank you so much for tuning in. As always, I've been your host, Daniel.
And I've been your host, Daniel.
And we want to thank you for listening to Everyday Board Games.
And remember, every day is a good day for board gaming.